As runners, we all challenge ourselves in ways we never thought possible, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of to smash through targets and set ourselves new, bigger and better ones.
This awesome hobby that we share gives us one thing in common, and it brings us together as a community. Whether you're working towards completing your first parkrun or you're a veteran of the sport who's run 100 ultra marathons, we all know the feeling of reaching that maxed out effort and our own red line.
Welcome to our podcast, where your hosts Brett Elesmore and Andy Maguire discuss the struggles, the successes and everything in between on our running journeys, as we all work towards the next time we're running the red line. Hello and welcome to episode 63 of Running the Red Line. I am your host Brett, and I am joined as always by my co-host Andy. How are you this week, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you very much. Been doing a bit of gardening as the weather's got a bit nicer, and
very nice.
Finally, after literally 5 years, I've gotten round to actually planting one of my plants, because I've had it in a pot for years.
Oh, okay, that's right, yeah.
And no, it's not just been like left out or anything. But
I was going to say, just a wilting, shriveled up thing. Put it in the garden.
But no, I bought it from B&M, and it was like a twig. It was like, because it's one of my favourite plants. Well, it's a tree really. It's an acer, and I love a good acer. Really appreciate an acer.
It's planted a laptop.
Yeah. So a 2-bit digicore, and it's just really therapeutic doing a bit of gardening. So yeah, I've just been enjoying being in the garden this week, and it's blooming graft though in this weather.
Yeah.
So my heart goes out to anybody, and I'm sure we might touch on this, who did a marathon last weekend, because I put a few plants in the ground and I was sweating like a pig. And I was thinking, thank God I'm not running a marathon in this weather, because it's been rather warm this week. And but that's been my week. I've been gardening.
Yeah, I've got to say I'm not a gardening fan at all. When I did my garden, I've basically extended my patio, so I'd got less garden, and then when I moved into my house, there was a big rock garden and all sorts, and loads of plants everywhere. It's just grass now.
Is it?
Yeah.
A wildflower meadow.
Yeah. Got rid of everything. Just basically extended my patio, got a path down the middle, and 2 bits of grass. Nothing else. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest gardener, but I do quite when spring springs, I actually think I should start actually maintaining this. So I do quite enjoy that. But I'm not a big fan of maintaining houseplants though, because we've got what someone told me was an indestructible plant, and I've killed it. Yeah. It's have you heard of a yucca?
Yeah.
So a yucca needs very little maintenance, very little watering, because it feeds off, heat and humidity. But I've killed it. All the leaves have gone, and it's just a hollow trunk now. And I have had it dead in the corner, like Norman Bates kept his grandma, in the corner of my lounge, hoping that a little shoot will appear, and it never has. So it's basically just a dead bit of bark in the corner of the house.
Yeah, I think every plant I've ever put in my house has died, apart from a cactus.
Yeah, they're the easy ones. Yeah. Even the plastic ones I struggle with. So it's just an extra thing you don't really need, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
you forget to water them so easily, because you just see it. It's just there, and then you forget to to water it and it just shrivels away, and you go, "Ah, yeah, I know I should have done something with that."
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
it's one of
yeah.
them.
But anyway, how are you this week?
I was a little bit sore at the start of the week. Now, like yesterday, I feel pretty good. I fancied going for a run yesterday, but I don't think that's going to be happening for the foreseeable, to be honest. Going for a run.
Yeah,
So everywhere else is more or less okay now. I still got a bit of tightness in my right quad, but that's to be expected after I pulled it and everything. But yeah, my left lower leg is a little bit sore, and just a little bit achy now and then. So yeah, it's like there's a dull ache down there, but
yeah. Did you,
but
I
that's
enjoyed
understandable.
I enjoyed your appearance on the London Marathon social media Instagram account.
Yeah, trying to get down the stairs.
You've been all over. You've been internationally kind of recognised this last few days because someone sent me a photo of their TV of you at the London Marathon filming the elites, saying, "Is this your
Yeah,
mate, Brett?" I was like, "Yeah, that's him, yeah." And I looked closely, and you're just holding this white thing out. I was like, "That's definitely Brett."
yeah. Just
So
pointing my
yeah,
camera at Sifan-Hassan. Yeah,
so yeah, you got on the box that way, and then you obviously made it onto the. It was the London Marathon official website,
mm,
Instagram, where they were filming people walking downstairs
yeah.
or attempting to walk
Yeah,
downstairs.
because that's the entrance to the tube station at the finish. So the
Right.
nearest tube station to the finish of London Marathon, you have to go down those stairs to get into the tube. There's no
Yeah.
escalators, no nothing. So everybody was just struggling.
Yeah.
But I was going down the steps sideways, all the way down the bottom of the steps, and halfway down, I looked down, and there was a guy just pointing a camera at me wearing a London Marathon vest, and I was like, "Oh man, yeah, he's caught me here," and he just filmed me the whole way down. But
Oh,
yeah,
that must have been hard graft.
yeah,
But
yeah. Stairs were interesting for the first couple of days. I know that much, but yeah,
yeah,
not too bad now.
I saw you adopted the crab technique, and you were going down sideways.
Yes,
So,
yes,
so some people like the reverse technique, don't they, where they literally go back, but you adopted a
yeah.
Sebastian the Crab kind of
Yes.
technique, which seemed to work quite well.
Yeah, it did actually. Yeah, I'm quite pleased I chose that way because you
It,
can
it,
actually see where you're going still as well.
yeah. What was harder, mile 26 or getting down those stairs?
I'd say getting down the stairs because mile 26, you've got all the adrenaline rushing through you, so you can still move your legs sort of.
I bet,
Whereas
I bet,
afterwards,
I bet you did mile 26 quicker as well.
yeah, probably, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
It is crazy how you're moving quite. I mean, you're not moving as well as you were at the start, but you're still moving quite well at the end of a marathon. You cross the finish line, and then your legs go, I ain't working.
yeah,
It's mad how just in that couple of seconds, your body goes, oh, I'm finished now. Yeah, I can't move.
yeah. It's like your brain releases a hormone, isn't it? That just says, right, I've got you through what I needed to get you through. Now you can pay me back with some hard-earned rest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. I got you through this. I got your medal for you. Now you can rest me. That's all. That's what we do. And we're starting now.
yeah.
We're starting. We've got over that finish line. We start now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is more or less instant how quickly the legs seize up. It's mad.
yeah,
But yeah, got it done. But yeah, I've had my appointment come through for going to the fracture clinic. And it's next Wednesday, so this Wednesday coming. So
yeah.
everything that's basically gone on with this whole injury debacle has been super speedy. It's been annoying really because
Yeah.
I got the injury. Well, we ran Warwick Half, and it started to hurt after Warwick Half. So I think Warwick Half was the start of it. And then it properly started to hurt just over 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, 10 weeks before the marathon. So 8 weeks.
First,
Yeah,
Warwick
8
was
weeks.
the first week of February. So yeah, that's about right.
So 8 weeks before the marathon, I went to the doctors with it and said I'm getting pain either side of my calf, either side of my knee. And she basically said, yeah, go away. It's nerve pain from your glutes. Go and do these exercises. And I said, yeah, I've been doing those exercises. She went, okay, just do them more. And I was like, okay, that's good. 2 weeks went by and it still hadn't changed. It was exactly the same. So I went back again to the doctors, and she said, no, it's just nerve pain. Go and do your exercises. And I said, look, I'm really worried in case it is something worse. Can I get a scan on my leg just in case? And she went, it's definitely not a stress fracture. Don't be so silly. Just go away and do your exercises. And I went, look, just in case, because it's better to be safe than sorry. And she was like, okay, I'll send you for an x-ray. And I was like, okay, thank you very much. That appointment then came through, which was 4 weeks later. So from the first point that I'd been to the doctors, the x-ray was 6 weeks after that.
Yeah.
Which in the meantime, I'd had to change to cycling because it was so painful. And then I had my x-ray, and it took them 10 days to give me the results of the x-ray. So they rang me, the doctors rang me on the Wednesday of the week of London Marathon. So on the Wednesday, the doctor rang me and said, hi there, got the results from your x-ray back, and it shows a stress fracture in your tibia. And she went, how do you feel about that? And I went, that's interesting, because I'm running London Marathon on Sunday. And she went, I don't think you are. And I went, well, I've been doing a load of training on it. And 2 days after I had that x-ray, I ran 22 mile. I ran 20 mile up and down the canal with a warm up and a warm down. And she went, oh, really? And I went, yeah. And I went, I did 92 mile that week. And the week after I did 70 miles. She went, what? And she went, let me get a second opinion. I'll call you back once I've spoken to someone. So she then rang an orthopedic surgeon and sent him my x-ray. And she then phoned me back and said, I've just spoken to the orthopedic surgeon, and he had a look at your x-ray and said, it's definitely a stress fracture, and you shouldn't even be weight bearing, and he wants you in a supportive boot of some kind. And I was like, okay. And she went, so I'm really, really sorry. I know it's hard to take, but you're not going to be able to run on Sunday. Yeah, I will book you in fast track to the fracture clinic, and we can get you sorted. And I went, okay, thank you. She put the phone down, and I just went, I'm running a marathon. I don't care. I am not spending 15 weeks training, getting through all of this problems, getting to the point where I can run, even though it's uncomfortable. I'm not missing out that start line. So I'm going to do it anyway. I spoke to my dad. So I only told a few people. I kept it secret. I only told a few people. I told you. I told my dad. And my dad's advice, when I told him, he went, oh, well, that's ridiculous. Well, didn't you run 90 mile the other week? And I went, yeah. And he went, well, be all right then, wouldn't it? And I was like, that's the answer I wanted. Thanks, Dad. Thank
Cheers,
you.
Dad.
And I went, don't tell Mom. And he went, I won't tell Mom. And then so I told my dad, and told some other guys that was in a WhatsApp group with who were all running London. And I basically said all the information and said, what would you guys do? And pretty much all of them just said, run the marathon. You might get hit by a bus on Monday. Run the marathon. Be careful, but run the marathon. And then the last person went, we're all idiots, but run the marathon.
Yeah, because we'd all do the same thing.
Yeah.
We all would.
Yeah.
But
So
just going back a few steps though, this is why people hate the doctors,
Hmm.
because you try and tell them,
yeah,
like, I'm not the medical professional, you are, but in my opinion, I've got a serious problem. All I
yeah,
need is you to realize that I know that I've got a serious problem. And then they say, no, you're fine, you're fine. Then you go back again. I've still got the same problem. If anything, it's a little bit worse. And then you have to literally plead with them to get something done. And they kind of
yeah,
go against, they kind of feel like it's an inconvenience, but they do it. And you think, well, this is exactly why people don't go to the doctors or have lost faith. Because this probably
yeah,
wouldn't happen in America, would it? Where you pay your insurance or whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah,
because it's all NHS, I wonder if I wouldn't be surprised if, like, driving instructors and driving examiners, I wouldn't be surprised if GPs have got budgets to work to and they can only refer certain amount of people per day, because that's crazy, isn't it? That you're literally
yeah,
saying, I've got
yeah,
all the symptoms of a broken leg here,
yeah.
and
I
they
said
just
to her,
say, no, you're fine, you're fine.
I said to her, I said, look, I've got pain all down my bone here. Um, I'm worried it could be a stress fracture. Can I not get a scan? And she was like, don't be so silly. It's not a stress fracture. It's just nerve pain. And I was like, look, come on. Just can I not get one just in case, just to be better safe than sorry? And then obviously, yeah, I know the NHS is understaffed and underfunded at the moment, but 4 weeks to then get an X-ray and then 10
Yeah,
days after the X-ray to get the results.
yeah,
So yeah, basically, I've done 2/3 of the training block on a broken leg.
yeah. I also just want to clarify. I'm not slagging off the NHS.
No, no,
The NHS workers are literally the
yeah,
lifeblood of society. They keep us all going. They are superheroes.
yes,
GPs, however, 90K
yeah,
a year, all
yeah,
driving their blooming Teslas and their, you feel like saying, I could do your job. I once went to the doctors and I said what was wrong with him, what I thought was wrong with me, which I thought was tonsillitis. He went on his computer, Googled it. He said, yeah, I think you've got tonsillitis. I was like, are you a doctor? Are you actually a doctor? A chat GPT. That's where they got the GP from. Half it's in
yeah,
GPT.
yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, but the what made me laugh as well is that, so they rang me on Wednesday. So what actually happened was Wednesday morning, I had a phone call from the doctor's receptionist who said, we need to make you a telephone appointment about your radiology results. And I went, oh, is that from my X-ray? And she went, yes. So we need to book you a telephone appointment. And I said, well, is that because there's something wrong with my X-ray that they want to speak to me? Because I'd like to know, because I'm running a London Marathon on Sunday. And she went, I can't tell you anything. I don't know any information. I've just been asked to make you a telephone appointment. So I went, okay, cool. And she went, so is Friday okay? And I was like, I'll be in London on Friday, but yeah, that should be fine. And then I went to my shop and I was printing and my phone rang and it was the doctor's. And I thought, oh, has the receptionist like put it through and said, oh, somebody needs to speak to him soon? And that was the doctor that rang me and told me the results and everything and said I shouldn't be running. So I went down to London on Friday and I was just about to go into the expo and my phone rang and it was the doctor's. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I better answer it just in case. So before I went into the Excel Centre, I answered the phone and they went, hello, is that Brett Elesmore? And I went, yes. And he went, it's Dr. Blah, blah, blah from Elgar House. How can I help? And I went, what? And he went, how can I help? And I went, what do you mean? How can you help?
You called me.
You called me, and he went, yes, you booked an appointment for a telephone appointment for Friday. And I was like, what? I've already spoken to somebody about it. I thought that was my telephone appointment. He went, well, it says here you were booked in for an appointment on Friday. And I said, yeah, but I spoke to someone on Wednesday. And he went, oh, yes, you did. Yes. And I went, and he went, and has it all been sorted? And I said, well, the other doctor booked me in with the fracture clinic. And he went, oh, yes, sir. So you don't need this appointment. And I went, what? How am I telling you that I need the appointment or not? How have you not spoken to each other? You work in the same surgery.
That doctor's just had a pay rise as well. Another pay. He's on £100,000 a year now for that consultation.
So we went, oh yes, you have been booked in, so you don't need this appointment. Okay, bye. Mental. So basically, the receptionist had booked me in for Friday. Hadn't put forward that I needed to speak to someone earlier, and another doctor had got my results and realised they needed to ring me then.
They have 9 years of medical school, don't they? Don't they do a week on phone calls? Don't they do a week? Surely they have a module on talking to other doctors. Oh my God. Like, come on.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically I've got a stress fracture. I shouldn't have run London, but there was no way I wasn't making that start line at all. There was no way I wasn't doing it. And now I've got to go to the fracture clinic because they said I shouldn't be weight bearing. I should have some sort of supportive cast, whether that's a boot or something. So I'll find out on Wednesday what I've got to do.
Well, isn't it funny the way life works and the way things, happen? Because imagine if that doctor you'd gone to the first time said, yep, okay, Mr. Elesmore, I'll book you in for an x-ray. And then 2 weeks after Warwick or 4 weeks, whatever it was, you'd have got your x-ray back saying, yeah, you've got a stress fracture.
Yeah,
I would have. You're 6 weeks out from London. What would you have done then? You probably wouldn't have run.
No, I would have deferred the place and I would have been resting up to try and fix my leg, which was painful. But everything now makes perfect sense. So in every video I've edited for the last 10 weeks, pretty much every Monday run, I have gone, my leg feels in agony after Sunday's long run. My leg feels terrible. And then pretty much after every run, I've gone, oh, yeah, my left lower leg, it just ain't right. I'm getting a pain in there constantly. It's better, but it's still not right. And it just makes perfect sense. I was running on a broken leg.
So is it super deep within the bone? Can you actually literally show us where it is or describe to us where the pain is, the break is?
So when the doctor rang me, they said it's a horizontal stress fracture in my tibia. And basically all of my pain has been here. So the main shin bone, which is your tibia, that runs down the front of your leg here, the big thick bone in your bottom leg. I've had pain here for weeks, and basically I've got a crack across my bone there.
Horizontally?
Yeah, they said it was horizontal, so it's not like it's split down that way, it's like split across. So
that must have been almost weirdly like, I told you so.
Yeah, I'm just so annoyed with the first doctor I went to see, who fobbed me off and said it's just nerve pain. Go away and do some exercises for your glutes. And then the second time I went back, she went, "Don't be so silly. It's not a stress fracture." I'm just so angry with her because everything now makes sense that I have got a stress fracture. I understand why it's been hurting so much.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and it's Well, so now I'm going to get to the fracture clinic, get it sorted, see what they say, see how many weeks I need of rest to get it sorted. So basically, what I'm going to do this summer, I've got an appointment with the surgeon on the 5th of June about my hernia. So hopefully I can get in and get that done pretty sharpish.
You really are falling apart, aren't you?
I know, yeah. So so I'm going to basically see the fracture clinic, get my leg sorted, see the surgeon in June, hopefully get my hernia operated on. And then after my hernia operation, it's 6 to 8 weeks recovery before I can get back to running. And then hopefully the end of summer, I can get back into it properly and get back strong for Valencia.
Yeah. Well, what you've just talked about there all points towards having a really horrendous day in London, coupled with the heat
Yeah.
and the stress of London. But it didn't exactly go like that, which we'll talk about, because you were
Yeah.
one of the few who had, I wouldn't say a good day, because everyone has a good day in London, don't they? But like, you had a particularly good day, which we'll get to after we've talked about some other things. So we were going to talk about some others that raced this weekend in
Yes.
Manchester and London.
Yeah.
We've got some comments and emails to go through. We've got quite a few. Can I just make a request? We love getting emails. Don't get me wrong, we really do. But the long ones, we're getting quite a few emails now, which is very flattering for a little podcast like ours.
Oh, it's incredible.
We're getting to a point now where we can't read all of them out in full. So if you could try and not write War and Peace in an email,
or
just
write War and Peace, but have a shorter section that you would like us to read out as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Write a massive long email if you want to, but have a section which is podcast readable as well. If that's
podcastable. Yeah, there we go. So we've got a few comments and emails to get through as well.
Yeah.
I had a relatively normalish training week this week that I can mention as well. And I had a race last week.
I was going to say there was a sneaky race which no one was told about last weekend as well.
Well, I didn't tell anyone about it because just as we were signing off the podcast, you said, "You're not racing, are you? That'd be a stupid idea." I was like, "No, not racing. Definitely not. Definitely not doing the Coventry Half Marathon." So yeah, I raced last Sunday because I just really fancied one last blowout, because this whole time, not this whole time, but I've really wanted to race Birmingham, which is this Sunday coming.
Yeah.
Good luck to everyone running the 10K and the half this Sunday, by the way. I definitely am not doing it. Almost definitely not doing it. I haven't signed up.
It's sold out now. It's sold out.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's made my life easier then. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I won't be doing it either. I was very tempted to do it, but unfortunately I won't be doing it.
So I just thought 2 weeks out from a big race, and this whole time I've been thinking, Leeds isn't exactly an A race. Whatever happens on the lead up to it happens. And like, you have just run a marathon with a broken leg. Since when are any of us runners sensible?
Oh, yeah, we ain't sensible at all.
So I actually did go out there to get a PB on Sunday, and well, shall I just go through it then?
Yeah, just quickly before you say that, the only bit of news which I'm sort of excited about this weekend is the second Grand Slam track is this weekend. So that starts today, and it's in Miami. So that's exciting. Anyway, there we go.
Yeah,
we can talk about that next week.
I saw Josh Kerr's Instagram thing where he's kind of
with him dancing
salsa-ing. Yeah. So yeah, that's all on. I think it's on BT Sport or TNT or whatever it's called, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I think you that is watchable, but obviously it's Miami time, so I don't know what time it'll be.
3:00. Yeah, but no, let's go. So let's go through your training from Saturday through to now for Leeds, and then at the end go back to Sunday and go through Cov.
Okay, so at the end of the podcast, then Friday, when you had that was Friday, we did our chat, wasn't it? You just arrived at the, that's it. So Saturday, I didn't do Parkrun or anything because
at my shoebox hotel.
yeah, did it turn out to be quite a good hotel at the end?
It was
Quite a
all
good
right.
base.
Yeah, it was basic. It did what it needed to do. It had a comfy bed. It was a single bed, but it had a comfy bed, and it was a room.
Yeah, value for money. Yeah, that's what we like.
Yeah.
So Saturday, I didn't run Saturday because I was working all day Saturday, which is even more of a reason why I shouldn't done Coventry, because I did a wedding on Saturday up in Staffordshire, a place called Pendrell Hall. Lovely place.
Yeah.
And the wedding was in a church in a place called Tetnall, which is near Wolves. And then, so that was basically a 14-hour shift. By the time I got home, it was 10:30.
You got involved with the veil and everything, didn't you? Some unconventional photography you were doing.
Yeah, someone, I think the bride or groom had seen a photo where they were like, "Oh, that'd be good if you want to get under my veil," and it's a terrible idea because I've got a stubbly head, and there's a reason why geezers with bold geezers like me don't wear veils. I couldn't get it off. So I was trying. Basically, I was trying to get a creative photo with the veil, and turns out that I got half the veil stuck on my head. Brought it home with me, but got that. Yeah, that was a good wedding, good fun, and funnily enough, I got chat because I was walking towards a church, and you know how when you do a wedding, you've got the ushers outside giving out orders of service or confetti or whatever. I heard one of them say sub 3. I went, what sub 3? What? I'll talk to you about running. He said, Alpha what? I do have 4. And so I was like, what? So I literally put the camera down. I was like, who said sub 3? And they said, oh, that guy down there has just run sub 3 at the Pisa Marathon. And I was going to go in with, was he wearing leaning shoes? But they wouldn't have got that. And then they were saying, oh, this is such and such, one of the ushers. One of the ushers of the wedding was running London the day after ushering a wedding. So he left the wedding at 9:00 at night, drove down to his, brothers in London, would have got there at midnight and then woke up and did the marathon. His target was 3:20 because we had a lot in common. So I was like, oh, that's what I did. I had 3:21. And he said, I would really like 3:20. So I tracked him, this guy called Jake Broad, his name is. Turns out he only lives down the road from me. And he did something like, in fact, I can tell you what he did. So he wanted sub 3:21. And the lad did 3:20.25.
Oh, amazing.
And so he did really, really well. So fair play to him. So that was really good to talk to him about running. So that was good. And then Sunday, I had booked this race on the Thursday or the Friday. So that was a bit of a lastminute.com thing. But that was fun. So I'll talk about that in a bit. And then I had a bit of recovery after that. I didn't run again until Tuesday because I'm in my week 15 of 16 now. So I've only done 2 club sessions this week and a run this morning. So club session on Tuesday was on the grass. That was an easy club night. And what I really like about the club, they said, because, you always sort of, the club nights are small enough where you can actually talk to the coaches and, people ask you what you're doing this weekend. And they remembered that Merv and I had both had a race. So he was doing Stratford. Again, Merv wanted sub 1:30.
Yeah. How did he do?
He did 1:27.40.
Oh, yes.
I think he did 1:27.40. Oh, so awesome. He went out. Merv. He went out hot. He went out with the pacer for about, I think he said with 200 meters, and he's like, "This feels too easy." So he just cracked on.
Nice.
And then he's K's like me, so he was wanting 4:15s, which I think is 6:51s, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he then said this is too pedestrian after 200 meters. So then he upped it to like 4:05, 4:08, which is probably in the regions of 6:40, 6:30, probably closer to 6:30, and just never slowed down. So just ran a really, really good race.
Amazing.
And what I really like about the club nights at Worcester is they kind of not insist, but they say, look, you've had a hard race 2 days ago. Don't do the session. Don't even don't even do the
Yeah.
session at a tempo, or just you do it. So
just
basically,
run easy and recover.
So what we did was fartlek, not even fartlek. We ran easy around the field while the other guys were doing something called a Parloff session. Parloff, I think it's called, which is in a partner thing where, imagine like a football pitch. You start on the center circle. One of you runs 300 meters around the perimeter, and then the other one, and it's like a relay. Then the other one starts when the other one finishes.
Yeah,
and
your recovery is whilst they're running.
Yeah, so it's 12 lots of 300s ish. And they were reading out, the effort, and people were doing it at like 3K pace, 1500 meter pace. So me and Merv were like so pleased. We have not got anything to do with this tonight. So me and Merv just had a nice, easy run. We did about sort of 8K, 10K around the field, a few laps, and we were watching the other one. So that was a really nice, chatty club session.
See, that's the great thing. That's a proper club. That is where the coaches say, look, you need to remember, it's not about smashing yourself constantly. It's about doing the races hard, recovering properly, and then slowly getting back into training, not smashing yourself constantly and then ended up injured. So that's awesome.
So I was really, really grateful for that. And I thanked myself the day after, because I think I woke up feeling quite good. I had Wednesday off, and then Thursday went to track last night, and we did a pyramid session. So we started off with drills, and then we did we always do 2 strides around the bend, because we always start at the 300 meter point, if you know what I mean. That's where we start our reps from. I don't know if that's where we've been allocated to do our club, because there's people throwing javelins, hammers, there's people doing hurdles. So that's our little hub. That's our little base. So we always do some strides around the bend to start, did 2 of them. And then we got into a pyramid session, which is 2, 4, 6, 800, 6, 4, 200. And the pace me and Merv ran, because we just thought, let's run together. Merv, obviously he had a lot harder run than I had on the Sunday. So we were still sort of in recovery, but we decided to do it around about 10K pace. And we did, those 4-minute Ks, 6:51s.
Nice.
That was the pace we were hitting. So we were hitting that nice. And then on the last 200, I ran something like a 30, I can't remember what it was now, 38 or something like that, 37. So I was quite pleased with the 200 I ran at the end. It was quite a lot quicker. So I did that rep a bit quicker. And then this morning, got up first thing, and we always do strides to finish as well. They're always quite insistent on that. So you do some strides around the bend to finish, which is only like 10 seconds or something. And then we did a 800 meter cool down, and then it was group cool down, stretch cool down. And then this morning, I've just gone and done a 6K with Daisy. So nice. Just gone up the hills and just ran up a few of the hills, not as long as I would usually run, so only 6K. So I used to be doing 10K throughout the block. So I did 6. Still got my elevation in, still got 273 meters in. Nice. So it's still quite hilly. But nice and chilled. And it was quite cool this morning.
Yeah. What sort of distance are you aiming to hit by the end of this week?
Well, last week I'd done 58, including my half. I'd done 58 or 60K. So this week is going to be 45, 50K. So it's not a massive reduction, but maybe more like I'm already on 22K. I'm going to do Parkrun tomorrow, so that's 27, and then I'm going to do 10 miles on Sunday. So 27 plus 16, 33, 40. Yeah. So
cool.
27, yeah, so under 45-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
So
and then
a reduction from last week.
And then have you planned what you're going to do next week yet with your final week paper?
I don't know whether to do 3 5Ks or 2 5Ks, because I want to do a shakeout on the Saturday.
Yeah,
definitely. We'll definitely do a Saturday shakeout on the Saturday. But I don't know whether to run Tuesday and Thursday as well. I've said to the club I'm not going to go down to club on Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm just going to be doing my own thing. So yeah, I'll probably do 2 5Ks in the week, 5K Saturday. So what's that, 15K, so not even 10 miles, and then the marathon Sunday. So that's probably what I'm going to do.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, the half. So Coventry Half. Last time I did Cov Half, this is important. The one and only time I've ever done Coventry Half was within my first year of starting running. When I first started getting into the buzz of racing, I did it in 2:03. 2:03 flat, I think. But that's Strava time, because on the day it rained so hard on that day, my chip disappeared from my bib. So I got a DNF. I didn't even get an official time. So I was on my old watch. That's the only thing I could trust.
Yeah.
So I think it was about 2:03. And I actually made a video of that. It was one of the first ever videos I ever did for the channel. And then this time round, I was thinking, can I do sub 90? Because that is a huge milestone that I want to try and smash as well. So got there, did some drills, got my Worcester club vest on. So it was the first time I'd raced in the yellow, black and red. And that was good fun. So the vest feels really good, feels really nice as well. Wore my Pro 3s, my Adidas Pro 3s to sort of see if I fancied wearing them for Leeds, because I haven't worn them for months. So I've forgotten almost how they feel. One of the feet has got a squeak, and I'm worried that it is one of the rods. I'm worried that it could be that. I don't know if it's foam or if it's the rods. I don't know.
I think it's just the foam.
Would you know if one of your rods is broken?
Yeah.
Would you feel it in your foot? Would you like?
I reckon you'd feel it, and you'd hear it. It wouldn't be a squeak. It would be more of a crunchy grinding noise, because you've got carbon rubbing against carbon where it's cracked.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it doesn't feel cracked, but I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm not sure, but it does have this really annoying squeak. So maybe I need to do the on cloud thing and get the WD-40 on it or something. Or I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. But yes. So the plan was mile splits again to practice for Leeds, because I think I'm going to manually split miles, which is something I've never done or not done for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Mainly because I hate the feeling of looking at my watch at 42k, thinking I've only got 0.2 to go, I've only got 200 to go, and then you hit the 800 meters to go sign because your watch is so far out. So
yeah,
by manually splitting, I'm putting all my trust into the course measurements that that they're accurate.
Are you going to manually split every mile, or are you going to do 5k splits?
I now think for this reason, I'm going to do 5Ks. Psychologically, I went through hell on Sunday because I was looking at my watch and it was saying, because it's got lap time, and it was like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and I still haven't seen a board because I'm obviously slowing down on some of the reps, thinking these are too long. I literally psychologically can't handle not lapping my watch or thinking that I've done a lap in 7 minutes, which is ridiculous. I know, just because I've been so spoilt with kilometers buzzing every 4 minutes, but 4.5 minutes. But anyway, so I started, you'll be pleased with this. I was like, don't start too fast. I wanted to negative split it because it's up on the first half, the first 8 miles, downhill for 5 miles to come back. Don't start too fast. Let's go for 7-minute miles. First mile, 6:41. I was like, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And then
hang on, 6:41 is 1:27.5 pace.
That's my 10k PB, pretty much. Yeah, not far off. So bit quick. And so I literally was like, okay, I'm definitely going to have to slow down now. Which I did. So, I mean, this is a bit of a hot topic because when I get round to releasing the video, obviously everyone's going to go, oh, you went out a bit too fast, didn't you? But I personally think the first mile doesn't qualify as going out too fast. I think if you're doing the first 4 or 5 miles too fast.
Yes. Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with the fast first mile, is there?
No. And you, in a half, you go out, you're in the middle of a race pack. You're going with the group. Your adrenaline's pumping. You're always going to run that first mile a bit quick, just because of the situation you're in. as long as you understand that when that split comes up and that first mile, you realise it's a bit too quick and you pull it back, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's where you go, oh, well, and just keep on pushing at that pace.
Yeah.
Which I've done a couple of times, but managed to just about hang on. But yeah, it's much better if you do that first mile too quick, pulling back, knowing that you've gone too quick. Yeah, that's perfect. But
I wanted to average 7-minute miling for the first half, and second mile 7:01, third mile 7:02, and then we hit the hills after the first 5k. So mile 4 7:23, 7:10, 7:27, 7:34, 7:35, mile 8, and that is where it starts to go downhill. Which I knew this would happen. I knew I would slow down, but I backed myself to just pick it up second half, and literally, hopefully, watch those numbers start to tumble. It never happened. I don't know what happened. I was literally, when you look at your watch and you think, come on, it must be the old satellite, the GPS not catching up.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, it's been 10 seconds now. It's still not moving. Okay, it's been a minute. What is going on? I'm going faster than this. I know I am. And then you realize you're not going as fast as you think you are.
Yeah.
So I was doing 7:14, 7:12 when I wanted 6:55, 6:50s. And I just couldn't find it in me, even with that gravity assist, to get moving again. And as well, I had a horrific stitch in the back of my left lung, back of my rib cage, and it was horrible. And I was like, just when I didn't need this, when I was wanting to press on, I just couldn't. I did 11 mile 11 7. I mean, I've got here. The lap split was 1.7k, so it must have been slightly off, or maybe my watch was, who knows. But the next one was 1.5, so maybe the boards were in the wrong place. 7:43, picked it up 6:50 for mile 12, mile 13. I think I'd thrown the towel in 7:13, and then I didn't really sprint finish because I thought I've not got a PB. What's the point? And I was already in a mood, so I thought, all right, I won't bother. And then I got in at the end 1:34.52. So I'm sounding really negative for a decent run, but I think us runners, we've got high standards, haven't we? And we like numbers. We like chasing numbers because that's part of the fun for a lot of us. And when you know a race isn't going well mid-race, you start to feel a bit deflated. And it's only after a while, with hindsight, you start to think, now, come on, get a grip. That was a decent run in hot weather. You've had at the end of a long training block. You had a long day on your feet yesterday. You had stitch for half of it. It was a hilly course.
Yeah.
Get a grip. Get over yourself. It's not that bad. There are worse things that can happen in the world. So it was my third fastest ever half. And when you're getting grumpy at your third fastest ever time recorded in your life, you're in a good place, really.
Yeah, exactly.
You shouldn't really be too... You should be winding your neck in saying, no, actually, stop being such an idiot. That's not that bad. Don't let numbers spoil your day. And on a flat course, on a colder day, I think I could have got a lot closer to that sub 90. And that, again, makes the game so much more fun to play, because next time I go, I want to go again. I remember crossing that finish line thinking, I just want to go again because I know I can do that better. So yeah, 1:34.52 official time.
Yeah, still a great time, mate.
So really good, and let's just call it a marathon paced effort. So great marathon pace effort for a Sunday.
Yeah.
And
do that twice at Leeds, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so I just got to do that again. So easy. So, but it was funny because all the elevation was in the first 8 miles, and the last 5, I just couldn't get going. So. Yeah, that's a little bit of a that could happen to me at Leeds, because this whole block I've been thinking Leeds is very similar. It's got that big hill at the end, but the last 6 miles are all downhill. And I've been saying to myself, well, that's easy. They're all downhill. So obviously I'm going to go fast the last 6 miles. I don't think it's going to go that way. Now, Now I realise that. So I know it's
Yeah.
not going to be as easy as I think it will be.
And a marathon is a different beast. That last 10K in a marathon is very different to the last 10K in a half.
Yeah. So yeah, for in terms of Leeds next week, I'm a perfect mixture between being a realist and being an optimist, because I
Yeah.
know that things will slow me down, the weather, the hills, the main two things.
Yeah.
And I'm also backing myself to run really well at Leeds,
Yeah.
because I've been training well, I've been doing a lot of hills, and
You're in good shape. So
yeah. So
the positives are there, and they possibly outweigh the negatives. So
yeah,
you've just got to go in with that positive mindset of
exactly.
why not?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying not to be negative, because I think you can, and I've done this. I do this. You can talk yourself out of a good race before you've even started. If you're a chronic overthinker, which most of us are,
Yeah.
when doubt and anxiety creeps in before a race, you can talk yourself out of it. So I'm trying to take my own advice and be really positive this week, and just just go into it thinking the best will happen.
Yeah, I almost did that at London. Like the whole, as I said to you before we started recording, when I got that phone call on Wednesday, the only thing I've been able to think about from Wednesday all the way up until the start of the race was my leg's a bit sore. My leg's a bit sore. That's all I could think about. And at the start line, whilst I was waiting in the toilet queue and everything, I was thinking, like, I had the worst night's sleep before London. Just I tried to get to sleep on Saturday night, and I finally got into bed at about midnight, and I spent the next hour just lay on my back trying to get to sleep, thinking of every possibility that could possibly happen in the morning, and all of the bad things that could happen throughout the race and everything. And then I spent the next hour just tossing and turning, just trying to find a comfortable position to sleep in. I eventually drifted off, but I had the worst night's sleep. And then all the way to the start line, I was thinking, man, what if this happens? What if this happens? But then as soon as I got into that pen to get to the start line, I just went, hang on a minute. I've done all the training. I ran 20 miles really strong on this leg 2 weeks ago, and I've had a taper since then. So what's going to stop me? My head. That's what's going to stop me. So get out of this mental place and get into the positive mindset. And I was just like, right, I'm going to do this. So it's that overthinking can really mess up a race. So go into Leeds with a positive mindset. You're in a really good place. You're in a good fitness. I mean, you're probably fitter than you've ever been.
Probably.
Yeah, just go and smash it.
Yeah, and it is funny because, like, people will probably think, "Oh, yeah, I probably did that." People will beat themselves up after what happened at London or Manchester or wherever you race at the weekend and think, "I could have done that better." The thing with that is that you're being too hard on yourself, because hindsight is so wonderful. And in the moment that you're in, you're doing the very best that you can. Yes, there are things that you might change for next time. But like I said before, that's what makes this hobby so addictive, because you're always thinking, what if I do this? This is what I'll do next time. And this is the way I want it to go. And, so don't worry if you didn't get the time that you got, because it's hard. Marathons are hard, man. Yeah. Running is hard. It's not easy. And that's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah. And marathons are a different beast from every other distance. They are the only distance of race which can make you feel that way. Every other distance, so all the way up to a half, is a very different race, and then ultras are a very different race. It's the marathon is such a unique beast that you've got to do one to experience what it's like, and it's never going to be exactly the same every single time. You're always going to have a different race each time you do the marathon distance because of how unique it is.
I love the fact, by the way, I'm proud of us, man, because I think there's a few people out there listening who will have signed up for their first marathon maybe this weekend, or they've just previously gone, or they've got it to come. And I'm proud that we have kind of bigged up the marathon so much, because there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And speaking for myself here, as a, let's face it, a middle-aged man, it is one of the highlights that I have in my life. You know, it's one of the best things that I have. And I absolutely love sharing that with so many people. And I absolutely love that so many people will have done their first marathon this year.
Yeah.
And I love how infectious this sport is.
Yeah. But you learn so much about yourself in a marathon, more than you will ever learn about yourself in any other distance. The marathon, because of how unique it is. If you're having a good day, you learn a lot about yourself what's happening during that good day. And when you're having a bad day, or it's tough, or things aren't going to plan, the way you get over that and the way you deal with it, you come out of the end a completely different person, because you've learned so much about who you are and how you deal with hard things.
Yeah, like I was sat here watching Freddie's video, T-Rex, Dave Rowbottom's video, Mac's video, and Laura sat there watching them with me, and she said, I think we're going to put my name in the ballot for London next year. So even she's thinking of doing it, you know, and it's like this thing that we do is just, it's just mega, and fair play to anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying if you've never done a marathon that you're in some way inferior.
Oh no,
but
no way.
It's not saying that at all. But to anyone that has just done their first marathon, it's massive. It's massive. Well, you may never want to do one again, but you've done it. So,
and you're in the 1% club.
Welcome. It feels good. It's a good club. It's a smug club. It's a very smug club. But it's a very cool club to be in.
Yeah, it is.
So what do you want to go with next? Because where are we? An hour in, and we haven't even mentioned how you did.
No,
and how anybody else did.
Yeah, shall we do some comments and emails, and then we'll get into London.
Yes,
with results and my race and all that lot. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to go with emails. I don't know if you're ready to go with.
Yeah. We've only got a few comments, so we'll get through them pretty quickly, I think. So, first,
you wait till we get to the emails.
I know. I did have a quick look at the emails before we came on. Yes. So first one's from Maverick Mike Runs, and it says, "Good luck, Brett. You'll smash it. Great vid, guys. Made me laugh with the AI pick and the smoke alarm. All the best." It was an eventful pod last week. Interesting. Then next one's from Gary Manders, and he said, "Best of luck, Brett. The fact you are running the marathon after all the injury problems is a result in itself." Yes, I truly believe it was. Anything else from now on is a bonus. Just to add, Sports Direct have Adidas Boston 12 for 70 quid, which I purchased. That's a bargain. Because the 13s are coming out this month. So no, they are. Are they already out? No, they're coming out this month. So the Boston 12s are 70 quid at Sports Direct, and they've got the Takumi Sen 8 and 10 for 85 quid.
Well, I looked at them last night, and so many of them are sold out. In most sizes. Yeah. I'm going to look at Boston 12 now, though. Sports Direct. Yeah, Boston 12, the silver with the red. Sports Direct. Oh, they're juniors. Hang on. I'll have a good look because I am interested in them. I am interested. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a great shoe. Next one is from John Turner. And he says, "Well done to you both on your respective weekend races. And thanks for keeping me company on my long run as I head towards Chester Half in 3 weeks." So best of luck for that, John. I'm sure you will get out there and smash it.
Good.
So yeah, 3 weeks time, Chester Half, go for it. Next one's from Kieran Turner, and he says, "Cheers, chaps! Big well done to Brett, you absolute machine." So cheers for that, Kieran. And the last one is from Light It Up, which is Sam. Is it Sam? Is that right?
Yeah, Sam. Yeah.
And he says, "Request to have a Stairmaster /cycling /elliptical section of the podcast with a leaderboard for those of us unable to run. I can now smash out 362 floors in 1 hour and 1 minute on the Stairmaster. That's the height of Snowdon. Thought it would be the best. Yeah, thought it would be the best of training for Snowdon Marathon. If I can't run at the moment, an hour a day keeps the physio away. I cannot tell you how sweaty it makes me, but it is seemingly a top-class workout. I'll report back once I'm running if I'm any stronger. My arse should be looking great, though."
Oh, yeah.
Those peaches.
Yeah. It's going to look like Kim Kardashian, isn't he?
But nice one, Sam. Cheers for that. But yeah, that is all of our comments. So thank you very much for all of those, guys.
Right, I'm going to get into a first of some of the emails. So first one to get in was Nick Points, and he's written in and he says, "Hi Brett and Andy, congrats Brett on your amazing PB that might be a spoiler at London today, particularly given the heat and the small matter of a stress fracture. Hope you've got a good rest planned. I ran Manchester today and was really grateful for the shout out on the podcast, which I heard at mile 8. No way! As I heard you both keeping me company in my headphones for the first 2 hours of the race. I also appreciated Andy's partridge reference. As soon as he said aqua, I was thinking, which is French for water. But then you were straight in with that line. Great minds. My PB from last year was Brighton 3:45, so I had a goal of sub 3:30. I started out with a good rhythm of sub 5 minute Ks and kept that going all the way through to mile 20. I was really, really pleased to have kept my heart rate down and to have nailed my fueling, hydration and electrolytes. By that point, the high temperature was causing carnage. So many people had overcooked it and were walking or lying in a heap on the pavement. My legs were tired. My legs were what tired in the end. I couldn't quite sustain the same pace for the last 6 miles, so I slowed down about 20 seconds a K. As a result, I finished in 3:34.04. That's pretty amazing, considering you feel like you hit the wall. I'm still delighted with the time. This is marathon number 5, and after learning lessons from the previous ones, I've knocked over 11 minutes off my PB. Awesome. And I was really proud to have run every step. But looking back, I love the training block too, and had some amazing long runs and a great 20-mile tune-up race. It's a cliche, but it's definitely about the journey rather than the destination. On a chillier day, I might have made up the 4 minutes, perhaps, but at least I've got a good target for marathon number 6. In the meantime, I'm doing day 2 of Race to the Stones in July, which I'm really excited for. Thanks as ever for keeping me company on my long runs. And Andy, best of luck at Leeds, Nick.
Awesome.
Nice one, Nick. What a story.
That's amazing, mate.
That's incredible. Absolutely amazing. Next up, we've got Alexander Bodin, who I think is called Alex B Official on socials. And he said, "Hi, Andy and Brett. Hope that you're both well. Massive congrats to Brett on the London Marathon result. Incredible considering the circumstances. Andy, glad to see that your training block's going well and looking forward to a top result from yourself at Leeds." Positive mindset. I'm going to give you a great result. Your podcast and videos have been an inspiration for myself this year as I've gotten back into running. I ran my first marathon in 2019 in 4 hours 51. Then in 2021, I rocked up to Brighton with no training, heavily overweight, and did a 5:45. Fast forward a few years and more weight gain, I did next to no running until 2025. This year, I started with the plan to hit a 4:30 in Manchester Marathon, and I started my training with run walks and at 107 kg. Fast forward to April, and I've lost 18 kilos, taking me down to 89 kgs, and running became much easier. I know that losing weight and marathon training go really hand in hand, but I was at such an unhealthy weight that changes needed to be made. Just before I began my taper, I decided to readjust my goal and have A goal sub 4, B sub 4 hour to 4:30, and C goal just finish. Well, the day came together perfectly, and I ran a 3:58 flat.
Whoa, amazing.
Taking 53-minute PB. I had to disregard my heart rate and went off perceived effort. Good lad. Especially after Altrincham, I ran the remaining 10 miles in higher zone 4, lower zone 5, and finished on the red line. Good lad.
Yes.
It was an incredible day, and I'm super proud of myself. Thanks both for your support and motivation without you knowing. Here's the splits if it interests you, and he's linked his Strava. So that's Alexander Bowden if you want to go and check out his Manchester Marathon. Keep up the good work, gents. Regards, Alex. Amazing. Well done.
Awesome.
What a massive, massive PB. And I know we say numbers don't matter and it's always the achievement, but when you do dip under a huge milestone, like 4 hours, when your marathon time starts to begin with a 3 or it starts to begin with a 4 rather than a 5, it just makes you feel so good. So very well done. And congratulations from us both.
Yeah, amazing.
This is from James Dunford, and it means he's written in. Oh, wait, hang on. He's written in again because he's, we must have missed it first time round. He says, morning, lads. This was sent on the 7th of April. Sorry, mate. We must have missed it. And the week is, hope you're well, and the week's moving nicely. I've listened to you both from the start, having followed Andy's YouTube before encountering Brett's videos. Enjoy the content and watching you both have the successes and challenges that go with running. You might have guessed from the email header. The email header is Leeds, which is what the Leeds United fans say. That you might have guessed from the email header that I'm based in Leeds. Looking forward to seeing Andy encounter the hill that everyone remembers from the course. I drive past it on my way to a school I work at in Bradford, and it's beastly. My main school does a water station on the course, so we'll be looking out for you and Beardy Rich. Awesome. I've wanted to write in for a while, but I've got 3 kids and I'm a senior leader in 2 schools, so time is precious. This means I'm run at 5 a.m. and quite often. I'm aiming to try and beat my 1 hour 40 and 50 odd seconds from Edinburgh in last year when I head up again this year. Then it's my attention on Round the Rock, a roughly 48-mile ultra around Jersey. First one of them, so any tips are welcome. 2 really quick topics of interest for me from your chat and emails, and weight and shoe. Our weight and shoes. Weight. I'm about 6'1" and I weigh between 15 and 16 stone, depending on the time of year. Aggressive shoes have to be worn sparingly. Carbon or even plastic fire a lot of power back into my legs. Power gets me through the runs. Gym work involves heavier weights, so I have the strength, unlike the body weight work and lighter weights that you talk about. I think that you have to take the solid principles that are readily available and adapt them into your circumstances and conditions. I've really taken the idea of clear paces from yourselves to maximize quality of runs. I'm sat on the train from Leeds to Bingley, ready to run back on the canal. Mostly easy with some half marathon pace Ks thrown in. Should be about 13 miles. Love the pod. Keep them long. Keep them rambly. Cheers, James. Firstly, mate, sorry it's taken us the best part of a month to get in round to reading this out. But yes, thanks very much for the course info, and looking forward to seeing you and your school at the water stations. But yeah, when it comes to weight and shoes, I mean, we can only really give the advice of the weight that we're currently at with the shoes that we use, I guess. But the carbons, they really do give you extra percent, don't they? They really do. It's just physics, isn't it? It's just science. They genuinely do fire some power back into your stride.
Yeah, but yeah, they do. I do try and keep carbon shoes for race day. I don't tend to do any training in carbon shoes at all. I only ever wear them for race day. or the 20-mile long run I did just to try the shoes out and make sure they were okay for the run. But other than that, all my training and everything is either done in non-plated shoes, or if I do use a plated shoe, it's with the glass fiber rods rather than carbon. Just because I want that benefit on race day.
Yeah. But I have trained in carbons. Sometimes it does make the effort slightly easier. For example, if you're trying to do a 20-mile long run and you're already feeling tired, then yes, without doubt, they will help you. But just be careful, because carbon, I wouldn't run easy in your carbons, because that's not really what they're designed for. It's like going on a jet. It's like going on a jet ski and just taking it for a little paddle in the shallows. That's not what it's made for.
Yeah.
So be careful as well. You don't misjudge the effort and either go too slow or too fast, because in training that obviously the last thing you want to do is pick up an injury towards the end of your block. But for most of you, that's not an issue anymore, because you've got the summer off now. But yeah, carbons, I guess, should be used sparingly.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Have you got any other points on that? Because we've got another email to get through, and then
go for it.
This one is from one of our not even our international listeners. This is from our contingent of Running the Red Line down under in Australia. So this is Amelia, who's written in a few times. We love hearing from Amelia.
We got an email here from Amelia.
We've got a bloody bonza email, bloody ripper. And I finished maths, by the way, the other day. It still remains undefeated. Greatest series ever on TV. Australian maths is brilliant. So Amelia says, quickish one, she says. Hello, Brett and Andy. Firstly, huge congrats to Brett for his amazing London race. With so much uncertainty around your injury just a few weeks back, to then be able to run the way you did. Wow. Absolutely incredible. Secondly, Andy, wishing you the best of luck in Leeds. Hopefully you'll get to this before your race. You got this. Go out and enjoy it. Lastly, your pod's amazing. It's a real treat. And I just wanted to reiterate that whilst it may seem like it's just two blokes talking about running and lots of random things, it's relatable and very fun to listen to. Thank you. That was what Amelia said, not from me. But also, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Take care, you two, Amelia. Bonus point. Big thanks for the amazing It's on Amelia soundbite from episode 59 of the pod. I mixed it into my marathon mix, and it was pretty cool when it came up as I was struggling towards the end of my race. My third attempt at a sub 320 was a good one. 7 minutes PB, but the pursuit continues. 321 final time. Gives me confidence that I can finally do it later in the year. Amelia, we're time twins. Yeah, I'm a 321 marathoner as well. So amazing. I'm glad that it worked for you. And I love the fact that people are listening to us whilst racing.
Running. I know.
They must be thinking, what are these two idiots on about? Why are they talking about sourdough bread and Chinese?
Yeah. Well, I suppose it takes their mind off the hurting legs and all the pain that they're going through. Just thinking about what are these idiots chatting about?
Talking about Danny DeVito and stuff like that. So let me just have a quick look how many more I've got to read out. We're not going to be able to get through these. So we've had some emails coming from Ian Booth, Rob Scott, Conrad, Anton, Lorne, Troy, and Stephen. So I'm just going to read Ian and Rob's out, and then we'll get to the rest of you on next week's episode. Yeah. So Ian, I met Ian a few weeks ago for the first time. In fact, I think he mentions that in this episode. In this email. He says, "Hi, Brett and Andy. First time listener, first time writing in. No, sorry, long time listener, first time writing in. I've been fortunate enough to meet Andy on a couple of occasions after the Wolves 10K and again at Worcester Pitchcroft Parkrun a couple of weeks ago. I just wanted to write in to thank you both. You've been a huge reason why my recent running journey has been so fruitful. I enjoy both your YouTube channels and been listening to the podcast since the beginning. Your advice and hearing about your individual training journeys is really helpful. Please keep up the good work. Before I started listening and following you and other running channels like Marm and Max channels as also excellent, my running routine was a basic 5K, 10K route once or twice a week at the same pace, threshold pace, with shoes that in hindsight were pretty ordinary. Following the advice from yourselves and your peers, I now mix up my training a lot more, changing distances, intensities, terrains, and footwear. The difference it has made is incredible. I've also got much better vocabulary as a result. I now know the difference between an Alpha Fly and a Vaporfly, a like Strike Pro from an Alpha Bounce, an electrolyte from a gel, and I now know what bonking and Gary Barlow biscuits mean. Oh, and the partridge references are always welcome. A year or so ago, my 5K was 21 minutes and my 10K was just under 46. Both decent times, both set way back in 2017, but I didn't ever really think I'd beat that. 2025 has seen a vast improvement. I've managed a 90-second PB of 43.14 at the Wolves 10K. And taking inspiration from Andy's Chasing 20 series, I've recently been pushing for a sub-20 5K for the last few weeks. I've attempted some speedy local parkruns, Worcester, Pitchcroft, Oaklands and Walsall. Getting a PB of 2028 at my first Worcester Pitchcroft in March was a great feeling, but I still had some work to do to get the sub 20. I got the same exact time the following week at Oaklands. I then got closer with a 2012 at Walsall, a poor starting strategy on my return to Pitchcroft the following week when I saw Andy. Saw me clock of 2038. There's always that bottleneck at the start, and I wasn't close enough to the front. The sub 20 was close, but seemingly elusive. I know that feeling very, very well. Pitchcroft had a pacer event for their 300th parkrun, and the 20-minute pacer was none other than Donato. I prepped as well as I could during the week, making sure I was in the best shape possible. And I even broke out the Vaporflies in readiness. I kept Donato in my sights throughout the run, trying to keep that threshold pace going. He stopped just before the line, waving us through to the finish. I clocked in at 19:52, not quite believing that I'd finally done it. I was mega grateful for Donato. He paced it spot on, and now I know I wasn't the only one who benefited from his selflessness. Andy, I think I know exactly how you felt when Brett paced you to your first sub 20, elated after almost 20 minutes of severe discomfort, but it was well worth it. Now that milestone is finally accomplished, I'm looking at some bigger and better ones. I'm running the Birmingham Half this Sunday, my first competitive half, and the first time I'll have run that distance in 4 years, the Black Country to Birmingham Half in July, and the Worcester City runs in September. Yesterday, I signed up to my first marathon, Manchester 2026, having previously never believed that I was capable of running that far. But surely that's why we do this, pushing ourselves and encouraging others. I'm excited but daunted by the prospect, but I know that if I don't do it, I'll regret it. I'll always regret it. Brett, your London finishing time was incredible and thoroughly deserved with all the efforts that you've put into your training. And Andy, I've got no doubts that you'll smash it at Leeds and Valencia. I've really enjoyed following you both on your journeys and thought that it was important to thank you for all the encouragement and inspiration that you give to your listeners. Thanks, guys. You rock. Ian. What a brilliant email.
Mate,
what a journey.
Amazing.
What a story. So the feeling of smashing a target that you think is so far away. And it's one of those milestones. It's just an incredible feeling.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Ian, amazing. So well done.
Good. So
Manchester next year. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Imagine that feeling of the sub 20 times 10, times 100. Yeah. So this last one we're going to do is from Rob. And he starts, Rob Scott, and he says, "Hi, Ron and Danny. I had to write in to let you know how my Manchester went, as the pod has been one of my biggest inspirations over the past year of running journey. Earlier in the year, when you asked people for their spring race goals, I told you I wanted an hour off my 4:22 from last year. Well, I didn't quite manage it, but I did come home in 3:27.41, which is a 55-minute PB, and I'm really proud of that. I did a 91-minute half in Feb, so I knew 3:22 or even 3:20 was ambitious, but achievable. I went over halfway in 1:41 on pace for 3:22, but I had to work too hard to maintain that pace to 30k. I really faded in the last 3 miles, but still mega happy with my time and how I executed the race. After being ill all week before the race, just getting there felt like a win. I did a solid 16-week training block with lots of threshold work, plenty of easy to steadies, and a bunch of 32 to 35k runs, including long run workouts. I hit 80k for 6 weeks in a row, and I'd wanted to push for 85 to 90 or higher in peak, but absolutely maxed out the time I could find for training. I know it's that last little extra bit of volume and stacking multiple marathon blocks on top of each other that lets you push to the end of a marathon. It really does find you out in the end, but that's what makes it all so rewarding to complete. I'm really happy that the block has set me up for some shorter distance goals like sub 40 10k and sub 90 for the half that I'm gunning for this summer. Maybe I'll do another marathon next year, maybe I won't, but either way, checking in with the community built around the podcast each week will keep me smiling through the training. Wishing Andy all the luck for Leeds and Brett a quick and healthy recovery for an incredible effort for London, knowing what you know now. Cheers, guys. Rob.
Cheers, Rob. That's awesome.
Thanks,
mate.
Rob. That's really, I love what you've just said about the community, just checking in on the community and, just keeping it.
Yeah.
Just keeping tabs on what others are doing and,
Yeah.
But yeah, to do so well at Manchester, that's just awesome to hear. Honestly, for us sat here with people writing in, it's only really playing about the long emails. It is great to hear how everyone writes in. It's just so inspiring to hear how people have done. And 3:27 marathon. That's mega. Considering that you've done 4:22 last year, it's nearly an hour in a year. That's massive. So good. Massively well done.
So good. Amazing. Awesome. So, shall we leave the last few emails for next week?
Yes. Let's.
Cool. So, thank you to everybody who does email in. It is mad that in just over a year, us two have built up to the fact that people want to email and tell us what they're doing, and it's mad. I can't quite believe.
They come from all over the world. It's not like they're coming from Redditch and Worcester. They're coming from Australia. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers.
It really is.
But we love hearing about everyone's story, and it's we really appreciate the fact that you want to take your time to email in. So please continue to do so.
But shall we move on to some shout outs for Manchester and London that happened on the weekend?
Yes, let's. So do you want to go? Shall I just, because I've got some times written down here.
Yeah, go for Manchester first. Let's go through the Manchester times.
Have you got? I've just remembered. I've just got to find. No, I've got him. So again, apologies in advance if we haven't read you all out, because there's so many of you, and some of you we don't even know your names. You just have like I heart bonking or whatever. That's your Instagram name. We don't even know your real names. So sorry if we do miss you out. But we'll start with Mac Ashworth,
friend of the podcast, Matt.
Friend of the podcast.
I
can't talk now. 3:38:36. A massive PB. I can't remember what was it, like an 11-minute PB for him?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, is it a huge PB? He had a hard time out there. He's made a video on it. I won't spoil too much of it, but go and watch it. It's brilliant, as are all the videos that we've seen so far. Which brings me on to Freddie, who had quite a tough day at the office. Freddie did 6:26. He wrote to me and said he was a soldier in, I think he said he was a soldier in the Sahara Desert. And he said he genuinely found Manchester Marathon harder. He found it. Yeah, he says it was that tough. He said Never wanted a magic door home in all my life. I once marched through the desert for 19 hours carrying all my kit. Manchester was harder. So there you go.
Wow.
If soldiers are finding it hard, you know it's not easy.
Yeah.
A few other mentions. Sam King, absolute legend, 3 hours and 58 seconds.
Amazing.
Dave Rowbottom, run like a T-Rex. He did 4:42. So repping the Cov massive. Well done, mate.
Great work.
Ryan Close, 4:14:20. I don't think it was the marathon he wanted.
No.
But like everyone, it was such a hard day at the office.
Yeah, so Ryan messaged me to let me know how we got on, and he said it was all going well, and he was on for a 3:35 up until mile 15, and boom, it was like he was at mile 22, 23, and he was cramping like mad. So he's done really well there to push on through that from mile 15 and get to the end and still in a really good time.
This is Will Ford. He did 3:25, so very well done, Will. We've got Tina Ashdown, 3:44:15. Very well done to you. Sean Hill, I think he did 4:57. We've got Tom Painter, 4:20. So very well done to you. And then we've got Matt Southam.
Yes.
Who ran Brighton and thought, that's not enough for me. 2:55 at Brighton. I quite fancy having a go at Manchester in tropical conditions, please. Shall I try for a 2:55 again? I think I'll go a bit harder. 2:50:50. He did.
As if run 5 minutes quicker. That's mad.
Absolutely absolute insanity. So unfortunately, that's all the Mancunians I've got down. So very, very well done to you guys, and apologies if I've missed any of you out.
Yeah. Amazing work from everybody. Yeah, if the conditions up in Manchester were anything like London, it was brutal out there. The heat was no joke. Honestly, it was crazy how hot it got towards the end of the race. Yeah. People were dropping like flies. It really was crazy. So for you all to get to the end and finish, and be fit and healthy at the finish, fantastic, amazing work from everyone.
Yeah, that's the only thing that matters. Yeah.
And then London. People who ran London.
I've got a few. So in no particular order, we've got Oaksy, who's the run director of what's it called? The Parkrun by the airport where we did
Babs Mill.
So Sarah Oakes, repping Babs Mill, 6:23. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. If you ever go and do Babs Mill, say hello to Sarah. Tell her we sent you. Darren Sooster, who's written in a few times.
Yes.
I think he wore his Speedy Pumas.
Yes, he was part of the what was it called? Was it called Breaking 3 or something like that? The Puma thing.
Yeah.
And
like
if you ran 3 minutes faster than your PB, you got a $3,000 payout.
That's quite alluring, isn't it? That's pretty good. Well, I'm not sure if it was a PB or not for you, Darren. But what he did do was 2:35.
Whoa.
So incredible work, mate.
Yeah.
That is seriously a good shift at the office. So well done.
Amazing.
Stephen Smith. Now, we think we could be wrong about this because we typed Stephen Smith in and about 100 of them came up. So we think we've got the right Stephen Smith. This is Stephen Smith from Scotland, who came down to London and did 3:24. So very well done if that was your time. There was, who else? We've got Mrs. Hurdy-Gurdy, the other half of Mark Hurd. We've got Joe Hurd, who did 6:34. So incredible work. That must have been no joke in that heat as well. So very, very well done. We've got Amy Lowe here, who did 2:48:38, who is also part of the Puma setup. And then Tom Holton as well. who got in at the quite a lovely looking time of
Yeah.
2:59.
Yes. So I saw Tom out on the course. Tom caught me up and said hello. We must have been around 10 miles in. He
Yep.
said hello and we had a quick chat because he saw me at Manchester last year. So it was quite cool seeing him again on the in the race, and he was hoping to run around a similar sort of time to what I was going for. But he said he didn't have the best of races towards the end, but still came in under 3 hours, which is incredible. So yeah, amazing work, Tom.
Yeah, amazing.
Have you got anyone else written down, or shall I go through my list?
Yeah, go through your list now because that's
Okay.
everyone I've got for London. Yeah.
Right. So there was Ryan Baker from Rayleigh Adventures, and he was, I think, 5 seconds off a PB. So to run that close to your PB at London was a great run. He ran 2:45.40. So awesome work, Ryan. I think he had a tough time out there towards the end. He was going for about 2:40. So I think he did have a tough race, but he was so close to his PB. So awesome work.
He's got a good video out as well. So go and watch his video.
Yeah, definitely. And then there was Luke Henney, who it was his debut marathon, and he ran a 3:16.52. And he also messaged me to let me know how he got on. Let me find the message, because he said he was on for a sub 3:10 up until 35k when his calf went. And he said he was so close to getting his dream time in that sub 3:10, but still came in 3:16, which is an incredible time. So awesome work, Luke. And then it's a lot of people from Redditch or the local area and B&R and all them lot. So first off, Fraser Slade, he came in 2:53, which is amazing. Pete Vale, he wasn't even sure he was going to be on the start line 3 or 4 weeks ago, because he did a trail. Well, no, not a trail race. What they call fell race. He did a fell race, and he was coming down one of the hills in a fell race and absolutely pulled or did something terrible to his hammy, to the fact where he couldn't walk on it and it was all bruised. So he had to change to cycling for a bit just to get through it. But he made the start line and he ran 2:52, which is incredible.
Wow.
Daryl Thomas, another guy from B&R, and we had a great race. We spent the whole race either just in front of or behind each other. So we kept on changing places constantly. I first caught up with him at about 14 mile, and then we spent the rest of the race either just in front or just behind. And he ran 2:52.29. And then Richard Banks, he had a really good race because he's had a few niggles during the block, and he ended up running 3:01.49, so just over that 3 hour mark. So great run from Rich. Darren Maston.
Who was it you did your 20 miler?
That was Richard Banks.
Rich, yeah, wow, that's a great performance. Yeah, well done, mate.
So 3:01, which is awesome. Darren Masson, he was on for a sub 3 all the way through to halfway, and then just something went wrong, and he said he felt dizzy. He was wobbling all over the road and everything, and he eventually got home in 3:19, but still a great run from Darren. So I hope he enjoyed his jog around London. And then Faye Stanyard, She came in 3:08, which is an awesome run. I think it was a minute slower than she ran Malaga. So she's got her time from Malaga for a good for age time, but still an amazing run in 3:08. Joe Scott, she ran 3:24, which is awesome. Richard Newby, he had a lot of time out injured, so just making the start line was amazing. And he managed to run a 3:38, which is fantastic. John Williams ran 3:03, and his twin brother, David Williams, ran a 2:46. So that's incredible. Then we had KQ on the run, who came in 2:58. So smashed that sub 3 barrier, which is amazing. So awesome running, KQ. I also saw KQ out on the run. Saw him just before Tower Bridge. Saw him at about 12 mile in. So that was good to share a bit of the road with him for a while, which was ace. And then who else we got? Dave Gemmell, who runs for B&R. This was his debut. He'd never done a marathon before. And got into London. He ran a 2:51.
2:51
for his first ever marathon, which was incredible. So amazing work, Dave. Ryan Lee, this was also his debut. He'd never run a marathon before, and he ran 2:49.56. Ran a 2:49 on his debut. Incredible. Rob Mole ran 3:18. Paul West 2:43. Adam Hill a 2:28. Which is incredible. So amazing work, Ad. Mike Cowley ran 2:45, which was a PB, I think. So amazing work. And is that it? Yeah, that's all I've got on my than the elites that we're running.
Amazing.
So yeah, amazing.
Does Ad run for B&R, or do you just know him from down Parkrun?
So Adam's from Redditch originally. He went to the same school as me when we were younger.
Yeah.
But he now lives in Birmingham, and he runs for Brat.
Does he? Right. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Other than the elites, I've got I think that's everybody I've got. So apologies if I have missed anyone, but amazing work from everyone.
And if there were lots and lots of races this weekend, so again, apologies if we haven't gotten around to yours, but
but
it was a big weekend of racing.
Shall we just quickly go through the elite leaderboard from London? So in the men's elite, it was won by Sebastian Sarway, who I think he dropped a 4-minute mile, like 4 minutes something mile in the race to drop everybody and just pull away towards the end. I think he run something like, I think it was a 14 something 5k in it towards the end of a marathon to pull away from everyone, which is crazy. But he won it in 2:02.27. Jacob Kiplimo was second, so his debut after running a 56 half, and he ran a 2:03 for his debut, which is amazing. Third and fourth was an amazing sprint finish. They were proper going for it to the finish, and they both got exactly the same time of 2:04.20. But Alexander Mutiso Munyao got third place, and Abdi Nagai got fourth. Tamrat Tola was in fifth, so the Olympic champion with 2:04.42. And then in sixth place with a return to form, which was incredible to see, was Eliud Kipchoge in 2:05.25. So it is great to see Kipchoge back running well and running an awesome time after his last couple of bad races. But our top GB runner was Mohammed with an amazing run from him in 2:08.52. So that was awesome. And then in the women, Tiggs de Sefer came in first, and
Yep.
she dropped Jocelyn Jepkosgei towards the end and just went off, and she broke the women's only world record. So fastest marathon for a women's only race ever in 2:15:50. Jocelyn Jepkosgei did fall off a little bit towards the end, but still came in second in 2:18:44. Sifan Hassan was third in 2:19. And then our top British lady was Eilish McColgan on her debut, who broke the Scottish record, broke her mom's marathon record, and she came in 2:24:25.
Brilliant.
Which was awesome. And then some honourable mentions with that was Phil Sessamon, who came in 2:14:46. I think he went out at PB pace, and I think he suffered a bit at the end. I think on his post he said he wasn't as fit as he thought he was or hoped he was. So, but managed in 2:14. Alex Yee had a great race for his debut and came in 2:11:08. And he said he's not ruling out doing another marathon to try and break the 2:10 barrier. So awesome work from him. Philly Bowden, she ran a 2:30:28, so 5 minutes off her PB from Berlin, but still a cracking time in that temperature and those conditions down in London. And then the other person we probably need to give a mention to is Cole Gibbons, who is Cole Running on YouTube, who in his debut marathon ended up coming second in the mass race. So when you take away all of the elites, he was second place, and he ran 2:16:52 on his debut.
So pleased for him because he seems like such a good egg.
Yeah,
he seems like such a nice guy.
Yeah,
and I'm just so pleased for him because he's obviously backed it up with a brilliant race.
Yeah, it's an incredible run. And not only did he run a 2:16, he ran a negative split and just got quicker and quicker throughout the race.
Wow.
So if you have a look at his... Hello, are you going to work? Hang on. My phone's just decided to stop actually working. If you look at his splits, that's his splits. The higher it is, the slower you go in. And he just... towards the end, just smashed it out and negative split like a good one.
So, nice and easy first 10K, and then not easy, but steady 10K and then sped up. Yeah,
he was running at 5:12 pace at the end. Started out at 5:17 pace and brought it down to 5:12 pace at the end.
That's per quick.
Mile, which is crazy. So amazing work, Cole. Yeah. But
we'll have to get him. We'll have to see if he'll come on our little podcast.
Yeah,
that'd be great to have a chat with him.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, we'll have to reach out and see what he says. But that is everybody who
apart from the whole reason everyone is listening to this podcast and is now realizing that this podcast is going to go on for another 4 hours. Here he goes. Look at that. Look at that little bit of, got that beautiful little bit of gold. Look at that.
It is such a good medal this year. Proper heavy medal.
Lovely.
It's wicked. I'm well impressed with it.
So go on. The floor is yours. Take us through Sunday. So start to finish.
Right. So I got to bed on Saturday, had the worst night's sleep ever. But I must have set at least 10 alarms just to make sure that I got up and I didn't miss getting to the race. So got up and had some breakfast, had some malt loaf, and made myself a carb drink with an electrolyte tab in the carb drink that I could take down to the start with me and just sip on all the way down to the start. So I had my breakfast, got ready, got changed, and went and met Fraser, Pete, and Daryl at the tube station. And we all got on the tube at about 7:30 and made our way to Blackheath. And we got off at Blackheath, and then there's about a 15-minute walk from the Blackheath station to the start, like pens. So we all made our way there, and they were in different pens. So Fraser and Pete were in the green start area. Daryl was in the blue, and I was in yellow. So we said our goodbyes and all went to our separate start areas. I got into the start area and decided, right, first thing I need to do is go and queue up for the toilet. And I thought, can't be that big of a queue. So hopefully I'll have enough time for a warm up and to get myself sorted and everything. So I went and got in the queue for the toilets, looked for the shortest queue there was, and it was the furthest one away. So I went and stood at the back of that queue, and I got into the queue for the toilets at 9:15. And my start time was 9:35. So I was like, plenty of time. I have got, what's that? Hang on, 50 minutes. So I've got 50 minutes until start, plenty of time to get to the loo and get to the start line. So I started queuing at 9:15 for the toilets. I got out of the toilet at just gone 9:20.
Oh, no.
So basically, I spent almost half an hour stood in a queue waiting for the toilet. And all this time, I was just thinking, this sun is getting hotter and hotter. It wasn't amazingly hot at the start, but because there was no cloud, the sun was beaming down and you could tell it was going to be a hot day. But yeah, so I got out of the toilet, just gone 20 past, and I was like, man, I haven't dropped my bag off or anything yet. So quickly went over to the bag drop, put a load of like balm, anti-chafe balm all on the inside of my thighs and on the backs of my arms and stuff, just to make sure I was ready. Put everything into my bag, got to the baggage lorry, handed my bag over, turned round, and the person at the bag drop said, have you got everything in there? Because you can't get your bag back out once you've dropped it off. And I was like, yeah, I've got everything in there, got everything I need. And turned around, walked off, and then noticed I'd still got my Apple Watch on my other arm. So I'd got my Coros on my left arm, and I'd still got my Apple Watch on. And I went, oh, man, I didn't want to carry two watches. But anyway, then went to the start pen, got in, and as soon as I stood in the pen, they were walking to the start line. So I was like, okay, I've got no time for a warm-up, no time for anything. So I just did a couple of dynamic stretches whilst I was walking to the start line and thought, right, I'm just going to have to go for this. And yeah, so I then crossed the start line and we were off.
Amazing.
And it great atmosphere on the start line. It's weird because there's so many different start areas and so many different starts that they all start off and then you all join up at about 3 mile.
Right.
So at our start line, it still looks the same, still got the start gantry and everything the same as the start line, but because it's a different start to the blue line, it does look very different to what it does on the TV. It's not as wide and everything. But we set off and that was cool. And then at about 1.5 miles in, I caught up with Richard Banksy, and had a quick chat with him to see how he was feeling and everything. And then I then went off and carried on. And at about 3 mile, the others from the other start lines started to come along the other side of the road, and then we all started to merge together. And yeah, really good atmosphere for that first 5K. And what I decided to do was, instead of having my automatic splits on my watch, I turned those off. So it wasn't going to beep when it thought there was a mile. I just decided to have my watch face on the just standard face that I have normally for running with an average pace, and then manually split every 5K. So split that first 5K, and when I set off, in that first mile, I said to myself, right, don't look at your watch, don't look at pace, just settle into feel of what you think race pace is. and change your expectations for the race. It's going to be really hot.
Yeah.
You know your leg isn't 100%.
Yeah.
So just change your expectations and just run on feel for this first 5K and see what you come through in, and then go from there. And I split that first 5K, and it was slightly off my target pace, and I just went, do you know what? I don't really care. I'm happy with that. I'm not worried. There's plenty of time. If I can speed up at the end, there's plenty of time for that. If I don't, I'm happy with this pace. And I think I went through, let's have a look. Hang on. I think I went through the first 5K in 20 minutes and 9 seconds. So I was, 3 seconds a mile off pace. And I was like, I don't really mind. So what's that? 6:29 a mile. And I was like, yeah, this is good for me. I'm happy with that. And then, we cracked on. And to be honest, I stayed pretty consistent then with my pace throughout the race, just manually splitting every 5K and just checking at what time I went through each 5K. But yeah, it was really good. When we get to 10K, you go around Cutty Sark, and that was awesome. The crowds there were incredible. And yeah, just a really enjoyable bit running around there. It was starting to get quite congested though, and there was parts where you really had to watch where you were putting your feet and watch where everyone else was around you. Because it was so compact and so many people around you, and you're all running at slightly different paces at the start of the race. So you're having to weave through people, but also other people are just cutting across you without even looking. I have never said F's sake so many times during a race.
Really?
Ever. Because people just not looking where they were going and just cutting across you, or completely slowing down in front of you and you having to weave round them, or you finding a space to go through and all of a sudden someone from behind you just goes through that space and cuts you off.
Yeah, right.
It was mad. So that first 10K, we got through it though, and that was all good. And then we carried on, got to about 12 mile, and KQ saw me and said, Mr. Elesmore, which was awesome. So got to share the road with KQ for a little bit at 12 mile. And then he went off in front. And then we got to just before Tower Bridge, where you turn the corner for Tower Bridge, and I saw Ben Parks, which was cool. So I had a quick chat with Ben Parks before we turned on to Tower Bridge. And then obviously Tower Bridge appeared, and I was like, this is the bit of the race. This is the atmosphere. And I said to myself, I actually said to the camera, look, just keep the pace as it is. Don't get excited. Don't go too fast because you're so pumped by what's happening on Tower Bridge. Just enjoy the atmosphere. And man, it was so loud. It was incredible. It was, the best feeling running across Tower Bridge. Just everybody screaming. And then we went through 20K on Tower Bridge. And then when we come off Tower Bridge, you turn a corner and you go down the road to halfway. And what did I split halfway? Hang on. I have got this somewhere. Give me 2 seconds. So I went through halfway in 1:25:53. So for a 250, which I was aiming for, I wanted to go through at 1:25. So I was 53 seconds off that. And as I say, I was not worried. I was like, honestly, if I feel comfortable, that's better than pushing myself to try and get down to that target pace. I'm still on PB pace, so I'm just going to relax and just enjoy the race. So we went through halfway in 1:25:53, and then the opposite side of the road, all of the lead ladies were coming past. So I saw Tiggs DeSefa and Jep Kozkai. They were still together at that point. Sifana San had dropped off at that point. So managed to see her coming past. And as the BBC were filming the back of her head running, I ran through the TV screen. So that was quite cool.
Yeah.
And then saw Eilish McColgan and Philly Bowden and all them like come past. And then at about mile 14, I caught up with Daryl. And that's when I had a chat with him. And then we started going between. And then you turn into Canary Wharf, where your GPS goes mad around Canary Wharf. Because of all the skyscrapers, you can't use your watch pace to know how fast you're running or anything. Because at some point, you look at your watch and you're running 8-minute miles. And then you next look at your watch and you're running 4-minute miles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's just all over the place. You can't really tell. But yeah, so you go all the way through Canary Wharf and then back, and you come back onto.
Just quickly, how long does that period of kind of uncertainty of how long are you kept in that GPS black spot for? Like 5K or a K or a mile? Or?
The whole like GPS where it's pinging around is about 5K.
Oh, okay.
Where your pace on your watch isn't quite right is about 5K, but the actual one where it shows up on your GPS that is completely out is one particular mile, and I think it's about mile 19.
I saw Ryan Baker put his splits on, and one of them is just a 2-minute kilometer or something. Yeah.
So at mile 20. I suddenly had a mile which was 15 seconds quicker than the miles around it. So there's one particular mile where it really throws your GPS out.
So you're just purely running on feel. You're just trying to the marathon effort by now, don't you? So you just
you're in that groove of keeping that pace. So I just carried on at what felt the same sort of pace throughout there. And then at about 20 and a half mile, you come back onto the road where people are coming out at halfway.
Yes.
So started running past all the oncoming people, which was really cool, seeing all of the people running past. And then you go out to like mile 22, 23, where you then go underneath the bridge where the final Lucasade stop is. Well, you go under a big bridge first of all, and then it dips down into a bridge, and you come back up the slope out of the bridge, where you go under where the last Lucasade stand is, that's where you start to feel it. But what I will say is at mile 16, my right quad. So the one that I pulled a few weeks ago, I think I have been compensating for my left leg. And at mile 16, it started to seize up and just go solid. And it felt like a block of stone. It didn't want to flex, didn't want to move properly. And I didn't panic. I just went, well, that's it now. For the rest of this race, I'm going to have a tight quad. There's nothing I can do about it. Just don't think about it, try to ignore it, and just keep on. So I just carried on, even though, it just didn't want to work at all. Honestly, I had like a block of stone instead of a quad. It was mad. But carried on. And then we got to about mile 20, and my left calf started to tighten up as well. And I think that was from my left lower leg. Just the constant pounding on it, it had got to the point where it was starting to feel tight. So my left calf started to tighten up, but again I thought, well, it's just part of marathon running, that's just what happens, so we're just going to crack on, keep going, and we'll get there. And then you go through the last like few miles, you get to 40k, and you think, right, I've got 2K left. You've passed the London Eye on your left, and the Thames is on your left, and you keep going, and you see Big Ben in front of you, and you think, I'm not that far away from the finish now. Come on, just let's just get there. Let's just get there. So got to Big Ben, turn the right hand corner, and you actually, when you look at how far it is, it's not that far, but that stretch when you turn right at Big Ben just goes on forever. It's crazy. And this is where you get the signs that say 1,000 meters to go, 800 meters to go. I didn't see a single one of those signs. Whilst I was running down that road, I was just in focus of just get to the finish now. We're almost there. Your quad ain't working, your calf ain't working, your leg it's hurting. So let's just get to this finish. And then I turn the corner and you see that gantry that says 365 yards to go. And I smiled to myself going, we're going to do it. We're going to make it to the finish. I don't know how I even made the start line for this race, but I'm getting to the finish of the race. I have done it. So started smiling to myself. I said to you, all of my photos of when you go under that gantry, you then turn right onto the mall. And all of my photos from the official photographer from that gantry to the corner where you turn onto the mall is me looking at my camera, trying to shield the sun, to check that the light is flashing, to check that my camera is recording. Because I do not want to not, like, because I've managed to film loads of the floor and my feet because of my not being able to see whether the camera was on or not. But I was like, I need to get this finish line on camera. But turned onto the mall and I was like, I'm going to do it. This is amazing. Still hadn't looked at my watch for the time. So I didn't know what I was on for time wise. I just knew I was on a decent average pace up until that point. And then in that finish straight, I just went, come on then, Brett, let's see what we got. Let's just get to this finish line. So pushed it to the finish, crossed the finish line, and I looked at my watch for the time and I couldn't quite believe that I had managed to run an almost 2-minute PB from Manchester last year. And I ran 2:53:55.
Yes.
So I ran a 2:53
with a broken leg.
marathon with a broken leg, and I couldn't quite believe it. It was amazing. The feeling of crossing that finish line and doing that, I couldn't quite believe what had happened. A 2-minute PB in London. Yes, okay, I'm almost 4 minutes off what my target was, but I said at the start of the race that I was going to adjust my expectations and just run the race for the conditions, the temperature, and the fact that I'd got a broken leg. So the fact I managed to run a PB and still get in 2:53, and they have changed the good for age times this year. So 2026 good for age times are even faster than they were last year. So I needed to run a 2:57 for my age group, and I've managed to run a 2:53. So hopefully, I have run a time which will get me in to London next year if I want to do London. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that's enough of a buffer. But and then as I crossed the finish line, had a chat with Daryl. We then saw Dave Gemmell and had a chat with him. And then I went to go and get my bag. And as I went to get my bag, I started talking to my camera and the emotion started to take over. I hadn't been emotional at all, but it then sunk in what I'd actually just done. That I'd actually PB'd, finished London Marathon, ran a sub-3 at London, which has always been a dream to go sub-3 at London. I'd beat that by quite a big chunk. I'd PB'd, and I didn't even know if I was going to make the start line 6 weeks ago. 5 weeks ago. Even I didn't even know if I was going to hit the start line, let alone get to the finish. And yeah, it was amazing. The feeling of walking down that baggage, like down the mall where all the baggage lorries were, was just crazy. It was awesome.
You must feel so smug. Because everyone else blew up this weekend apart from you.
Yeah, I mean, I did slow down towards the end. I'm not going to lie. I didn't have the perfect even race, but my splits aren't bad at all. So my
No,
5K,
amazing.
my 5K splits throughout the race. So first 5K was 20:09, and then I ran 20:21, 20:36, 20:19, 20:31, 20:43, 20:40, and then from 35 to 40K, I did slow down and ran a 21:18.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I'm quite pleased with that.
You should be. I can't tell you how you're supposed to feel, but what a performance! That is incredible. That level of consistency at that intensity in those conditions with a broken leg.
Yeah.
It's just.
I,
Do you think pure adrenaline was a big factor?
I think adrenaline, was a big factor in the fact that I got to the finish like I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing what adrenaline can do. Because I said to you earlier, didn't I? When my quad started to go at mile 16,
Yeah.
when it started to lock up, my head wasn't quite thinking as well as it was before that point. Obviously, marathon brain is a big thing, and you can't quite remember what you're doing properly. But I started missing gels. So, like, I should have took a gel at, hang on, 6, 9, 12, 15. I should have took a gel at 18 miles. And because of my quad, I didn't take it till mile 19. And then I was supposed to take my next one at 21, and I didn't take it till 23 because I was forgetting what I was trying to do. But
you know, when you're taking your gels like every 5K, you take one, you think, well, I've only just finished the last one. Like, not saying that I'm running 3-minute 5Ks, but like, it just feels so soon after, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you think, God, have I? And you literally have to force yourself to get it down. So it's so easy to miss one, isn't it? It really is so easy.
Yeah. It says here. So obviously, my target, I did want to run 250, but I changed that outlook at the start of the race. I knew I wasn't going to run 250. But yeah, my target was 4-minute Ks, wasn't it? In your money, and I ran an average of 4:08 a K for that race. So,
and that's
I'm not unhappy with that
long course or whatever they want to call it. But like you will have had to have run, I guess, for a 250, you would have had to have realistically ran 1945s.
Yeah,
I guess, which would have been even more of an effort. So. Imagine if you'd have pushed it even harder.
Yeah.
Maybe you would have blown up.
But go on.
Because with running, there is a tipping point, isn't there?
Oh,
and that's what this whole game is finding that how far can I push myself without blowing up? Yeah. And there is no numbers that can tell you that. It's just a feel thing, and it's just experience and you know.
I just wanted to get to halfway. I wanted to get to halfway with it feeling easy and it not being too like strenuous. And I got to halfway and still felt good. So I did what I needed to do. I eased that pace back ever so slightly, only a few seconds per mile, but that made all the difference of going out too hot and really feeling it at the end and blowing up.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I made that sensible decision to adjust what I wanted from the day. with everything going through my head in the lead up to it. I'm so glad I made that sensible decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, it says here on my congratulations rundown that I even came in the top 2,000. So I was 1,919th overall out of the mass race, which I am, pretty happy with, to be honest. Yeah, it's
mad that it's not mad. It's obviously testament to your training and dedication. But your last 3 marathons have all started with a 2 now, haven't they?
yes, yeah,
Which must be a pretty good feeling.
yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I last year when I ran Manchester around 2:55, I thought to myself, it wasn't a fluke that I ran sub 3 the year before. It wasn't a fluke. I can actually do this. And then this year, it's just backed that up even more, going, I'm actually capable of doing this. It's definitely not a fluke now. So I can aim higher. It's not a fact now that I've just got to aim to try and run sub 3. My target has to be an ambitious target from now on, and go and hit those times that I really want to try and run eventually.
That's how you get the best out of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. But looking at Strava, so those are my 5K manually splits.
Yeah.
As you can see, in that last 5K, I did slow up, but I'm pretty happy with the consistency of them. And then my mile splits. So obviously these are off GPS. So although I had auto lap turned off, it does still lap every mile on it. And those are my mile splits.
That looks good, doesn't it?
So there is a slight tail off at the end, but not a blow up at all.
No.
I'm very happy with that. I think basically, I came in at the end of that marathon feeling aerobically fine, feeling still like I'd got loads to give. It's just my legs didn't want to work. That quad didn't want to work. My calf didn't want to work, and my leg was quite painful. But yeah, the fact that I got to the end feeling aerobically good enough that I could push a bit more, it's just my legs didn't want to do it. Then I'm really happy with that result.
So an even better result happened after the marathon. Talk us through the Martin Lewis list of things that you had afterwards. That you took what was rightfully yours.
Yeah. So I finished the race, went and got my bag and everything, and then met up with Rich, Banks, Darren, Faye, Joe, Lisa, and we all were in Horse Guards Parade for a bit, just having a chat. And then we made our way to the tube station where I did my sidestepping down the stairs because my legs totally seized up and they just didn't want to work. But got on the tube, went back to King's Cross Piccadilly Station, which was near where my hotel was. And I messaged Fraser and said, whereabouts are you? Did you go back to the hotel? And he said, oh, we're in Franco Manca, having a pizza. And I went, oh, right, I'll be with you in a couple of minutes. And he sent me the location and where it was. So I walked from the station to Franco Manca and sat down, and we all ordered a pizza. So we got a free, because we had our medal with us, we all got a free Franco Manca pizza. So that was about 5:00 that I did that. And then when we'd finished, they went off to the train station, off to Euston, to go and get their train home. And I walked back to my hotel and had a shower. And I'll tell you what, it was one of the best showers I've ever had in my life. Do you know them post-marathon showers? It's just, mate, the shower was hot, which was unheard of in hotels. So really nice hot shower, felt great, got changed and went, right, I'm going to have a walk down into Covent Garden and see what's about and see what restaurants are about. So I walked down, found Bill's restaurant, which was another one that was giving away free food to people with a London Marathon medal. So I went into Bill's and had a burger and Coke and fries for free, which was lovely. Had a bit of a reflection on the race while I was sat eating my food. And then I left Bill's and went, I'll probably still eat something. So I couldn't decide whether to go to the Franco Manca in Covent Garden or to go somewhere else. So I ended up at a bar called Maxwell's, and they were giving away a burger and fries for free to London Marathon runners. So I had a burger and fries in Maxwell's.
Yes.
Um,
Triple dinner.
which was good. And then on the way back, I passed a McDonald's, so I went and bought myself a chocolate milkshake and drank that on the walk back from Covent Garden to King's Cross. And then opposite the hotel, there was another McDonald's, so I went and bought myself a Coke and a McFlurry.
McDonald's.
And went back to the hotel, ate my McFlurry, and yeah, it was a lovely evening and
phenomenal. Yeah. That makes me want to do the London Marathon for all those freebies.
Yeah.
Because I really would get my money's worth. I reckon I could do a quadruple.
Yeah.
But
I was very tempted, but no. Yeah, I was like, I've had enough now. I've had enough.
So quick question then before we finish.
Yeah.
2 questions. How was the kit? No, I'll ask one by one. How did you get on with the kit?
Amazing. I felt good, which always helps in a race. I felt good. I looked in the mirror before I left the hotel and I was like, do you know what? I'm well happy with my choice of kit here. Red singlet, red shorts. I had a yellow number, right? I had it. So I was on the yellow start. So I had a yellow number with red numbers. So that worked with my red singlet. And then I had yellow shoes. And I was like, this couldn't have been better. So as I was going to the start, I felt good. And yeah, that just made me feel good starting off and all the way through the race.
Oh, amazing. What about your Pro 4s then? So were they just dreaming?
Mate, amazing. Just next level. They are very, very different to the Pro 3s, but they felt so good just throughout the race. Felt great.
Can you put your finger on it? In what way are they different?
So the rocker's in a different place.
Yeah.
So the rocker is now it gets you up onto your toes a bit earlier than the Pro 3s do. Yeah. So they're a bit more aggressive in that sense. So do you know how the Pro 3s are just really smooth? You just feel like you're smoothly running along. These are a bit more aggressive where the rocker is. So get you up onto your toes. They just want you to get propelled forward. And the foam is so much softer.
I'd say a Pro 3 almost has a daily trainer style feel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With
just
some good foam.
Just a smooth, consistent, turnover of your feet. But the Pro 4s, just propel you forward a little bit more. And the foam is so much softer. It's a completely different foam to Light Strike Pro in the Pro 3s. It's just a completely different beast. Just they fit really well. Yeah, just I enjoyed every step in them.
And next question, did you get recognised? Did anyone see you?
Only Tom Holton in the middle of the race came up and said hello. Obviously KQ and them. But from the crowd, I saw Lisa Thomas. And then I saw Tom Richmond, Jordan Adams, and I think Will Noyce was there. Some of the B&R guys who had come down to spectate, and they were spectating. It was about mile 22, 23, and I heard a shout from them. But other than that, no, I didn't get recognised by anybody else.
Didn't Nathan Hampson snap you at some point?
Yes, Nathan saw me. I didn't see Nathan, but he did manage to, manage to get a bit of footage of me running past
in slow motion.
At the point where I was, my legs weren't working, but it was all good. I think it was mile 23 he saw me. So
yeah. Amazing. Well, I hope you have a very well-deserved rest now. And
Thank you. Yes, I am.
have
Yes.
have you planned the rehab or the rest? Or
Well, I'm going to see what they say on Wednesday next week, but
yeah,
yeah, I'm going to be off running for the foreseeable. I'm going to see, depending on what they say, see if I can do something like cycling or something just to keep something going.
yeah,
Because yeah, all I want to do right now is go out for a run. Um,
yeah,
I've got that feeling back again now. My legs feel good enough that I could go for a run, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk making my leg any worse. I've already rolled the dice massively and took a huge gamble just by going to London, which I really shouldn't have done. It was a stupid thing to do. Let me just say this to everybody listening. Don't do what I did. Be sensible. I was stupid. I was extremely stupid going to London and running, knowing I'd got a stress fracture. I shouldn't have done it, but there was nothing stopping me getting to that start line. I'd
calculated risk.
I'd put too much effort to get to that start line. So the fact I could get there, there was nothing going to stop me getting there. But yeah, I was a very stupid person. But sometimes these gambles pay off, and I rolled the dice and rolled sixes.
Well, it
So
really was a roll of a dice, really, with what you've been through. You know, anything could have happened, really, couldn't it?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but that's
but
sometimes you've got to risk it for a biscuit, haven't you?
exactly. So yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, thank you so much to every single person that has messaged or put a comment on my Strava or reached out in any way throughout the block. Number one, throughout the block, the support has been incredible. But after the race, it's been very humbling.
I've
All
got
the messages.
one more question.
Go
The
on then.
London Marathon,
Yeah,
is it the best? Should we believe the hype?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the atmosphere of huge crowds, I don't think anything could ever beat it.
Okay.
The feeling of running across Tower Bridge is just incredible, and then the feeling of the last 5 miles, just the crowd support all the way around is incredible, but the last 5 miles is just on another level. You
Yeah.
will never experience anything like it ever.
Yeah.
And just that iconic finish of seeing 365 yards to go and then turning that right hand corner onto the Mall. You'll never experience anything like that ever. So
Yeah.
if you can, if you ever get the chance, grab it with both hands.
Okay.
It is incredible, and I can't
Amazing.
wait to go back again.
Yeah. Hopefully with slightly less of a broken leg.
Yes, yeah. I just want, just I would love to do a marathon without having any issues during the block and out without any injuries.
Yeah.
I don't think I've done the last 3 marathons I've not done a block without an injury. So if I can, that's the other thing I was going to say, right? What is always the first thing that goes for me in a race? Whenever I say I've an issue, what do I always mention is the first thing that goes on my body?
What, like your hamstrings or something?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
normally my
Probably your
hamstrings.
hamstrings. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so my hamstrings are always the first things to go.
Yeah.
Since I've been doing those single leg Romanian deadlifts, I have strengthened my glutes and hamstrings so much more than they ever were before, and I had 0 issues at the London
Yeah.
Marathon with hamstrings and glutes.
Wow.
I didn't even feel them at all throughout the whole race. The only issues I had was that right quad and my left calf, and obviously my left leg. But my hamstrings and my glutes, strong as you like.
Oh,
No
good.
issues at all.
Well,
So If anybody is having any hamstring or glute issues, get on them. Get on the single leg Romanian deadlifts.
Single leg
RDLs.
Single leg RDLs. Okay. Right.
So yeah, they have done me so good. But yeah. But before we go, we've got one last thing to do, and it is the Strava segment. So let's just go through this quickly. So our leaderboard for last week, in first place was Ryan Gorn or Gowan with 79 miles. Second was Mark Mystery Burton with 72.2 miles. And third was, do you remember the 21st night of Matt Hember with 71.9 miles? You know, Matt, every single time you are ever on our leaderboard now, I am going to do that. But awesome work from you three. Our climbing top three. In first place, again, we have Josh Hurtado with 7,107 foot. Second is Chris Walker with 6,890 foot. And third is Ryan Gorn or Gowan. I'm not sure how to say it. Please let us know, Ryan. With 6,127 foot. So awesome work. And then our top three ladies that I need to find. In first place is a new entry, Evelyn Lutterod. I think it is. Lutterod or Lutterot?
Lutterot.
Yeah. With 58.4 miles. Second is Chloe Hamard with 54.9 miles. And third is Victoria Lee with 53.1 miles. So amazing work from everybody on our leaderboard. And thank you all for being a part of it.
Yeah, thanks very much. Go and join the club if you haven't done so already. And I know we keep banging on about it, but subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
Yes. If you are just a listener, still go onto YouTube and give us a subscribe and get that subscribe count up. So yeah. But yeah, I think we should probably leave it there.
Dude, what a performance. What an outrageously good performance you did. And I'm sure this one will go down in your memory bank forever because I imagine
it's something I'll never forget. I know that much. It was incredible. I can't believe what happened. It was an incredible day from start to finish. And yeah, thank you so much, London. It was incredible.
I'm going to go and throw myself down the stairs and try and break my leg and see if it brings me luck next week.
Awesome. So thank you so much to everyone for listening or watching. Amazing work and congratulations to everyone who raced on Sunday, whether that was a half marathon, a full marathon, whether you were in Stratford, Coventry, Manchester, London, wherever you were. Congratulations. You got out there, got it done. And you should all be extremely proud of yourselves. But thank you so much for listening. I'm going to go and wear this a bit more and just be proud of myself. And thank you so much. And we'll see you next week. Cheers, guys.
My turn next week, guys. Wish me luck.
Yes. Leads.